In February of 2026, in a federal courtroom in California, a judge sentenced a man to 20 years in prison for laundering $73 million stolen from American families. The defendant's chair was empty. 2 months earlier, Daren Li had been at home awaiting this exact hearing, wearing a court-ordered ankle monitor on his leg. He had already been arrested at an international airport. He had already pleaded guilty. The United States government believed it had him. Then, one night in December, he cut the monitor off and disappeared. The judge read the 20-year sentence to an empty chair. As you watch this video, Daren Li is somewhere in the world, free, with a federal prison sentence waiting for him whenever he is found. This is the case file on a 42-year-old dual citizen of China and St. Kitts and Nevis who helped operate one of the largest pig butchering money laundering networks the United States Department of Justice has prosecuted to date. Pig butchering is the name federal investigators use for a specific kind of cryptocurrency investment scam that has exploded since 2023. The name comes from a Chinese phrase, sha zhu pan, which describes the process of slowly fattening a pig before slaughter. In the scam, the pig is the victim. The fattening is the buildup of trust over weeks or months. The slaughter is the moment the victim sends all of their money to a platform that does not exist, run by people they have never met in a country they have never been to. The pattern works like this. A stranger sends you a message. It might come through a dating app. It might come through WhatsApp, Telegram, or Facebook. It might be a wrong number text that begins, "Sorry, I think I have the wrong number, but you sound nice. What is your name?" It might be a friendly LinkedIn introduction. The opening is engineered to feel accidental. If you respond, the relationship begins. The stranger is attentive, charming, consistent. They send photos. They share details about their life. They ask about yours. Over days and weeks, they become someone you look forward to hearing from. They are not pushing for anything yet. They are just there. Then, casually, they mention an investment they have been making, a new platform, a friend in the business. Returns that seem too good to be true, but the stranger insists they are real, and they have proof. Screenshots of their own gains, sometimes substantial. They are not asking you to invest. They are just sharing what is working for them. Eventually, they offer to help you get started. A small amount, just to try it. The platform looks professional. You can see your money on the dashboard. The number goes up. You can even withdraw a small amount to your own bank account in the first few days, which proves to you that the system works. This is the fattening. Then you invest more. The number goes up faster. The stranger is excited for you. You start to believe this is the financial breakthrough of your life. You may even tell family members about it. Then, when you try to withdraw a large amount, something happens. There is a tax fee, a regulatory hold, a technical issue, a blocked account. To release your funds, you need to send more money, a deposit, a fee, an unfreeze payment. The platform will not let you withdraw what you can clearly see in your account until you pay. That is the slaughter. The money is gone. It was gone the moment you sent the first wire. The dashboard was a screen. The platform was a lie. The stranger was a script. Now check your own phone. If you have ever received a text message from an unknown number that says, "Sorry, I think I have the wrong number," or a friendly message from a stranger that seemed to come out of nowhere, you have already been touched by this industry. Those messages are not accidents. They are the first line of a script, sent out by the hundreds of thousands, fishing for anyone who replies. Most people delete them. The operation only needs the ones who don't. Every dollar in this story was earned over decades. None of it was earned by the people who took it. Daren Li was a money launderer in this network. He was not, by the federal indictment's description, one of the people who built the relationships or wrote the scripts. He was part of the infrastructure layer that converted American dollars into untraceable cryptocurrency and moved them out of the country. His role, as described in the indictment and his own guilty plea, was to direct co-conspirators in the United States to open American bank accounts in the names of shell companies. Victims of the pig butchering scams would be told to wire their money to these accounts to fund their investments. The money would arrive. Li and his associates would then move the funds through a layered series of conversions, bank to bank, dollar to stablecoin, stablecoin to other cryptocurrencies, finally to wallets controlled by the broader network operating from compounds in Cambodia and other parts of Southeast Asia. 8 co-conspirators were charged alongside Li. All 8 have pleaded guilty. Several have already been sentenced. Li was arrested at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in April of 2024, attempting to leave the United States. He had been under investigation for some time. The arrest itself was the culmination of a multi-agency federal effort tracking the money flows associated with the pig butchering networks. Number 3 on the warning signs list at the end of this video is the message that always, without exception, opens a pig butchering scam. Once you recognize it, you cannot be drawn into another one. Subscribe to this channel. I research one new federal case file every week. We name the defendants, we trace the money, we show you exactly how every scheme worked. The amount of money Li and his network funneled through American bank accounts is staggering. $73.6 million. That figure represents victim losses that prosecutors were able to trace and document. The actual total of pig butchering losses tied to the broader network Li worked within is almost certainly higher. Federal investigators recovered evidence showing how the money moved. Victims would be instructed to wire funds to bank accounts at major American banks, accounts held in the names of corporations that existed only on paper. The shell companies had filings with state authorities. They had federal tax identification numbers. They looked on paper like legitimate businesses. They were not. They existed solely to hold victim money for the few hours or days it took to move it out of the United States banking system. Once converted to cryptocurrency, the funds were moved through what investigators call mixers and tumblers, services that combine cryptocurrency from many sources to obscure the original path. From there, the funds were transferred to wallets controlled by the operations in Cambodia. The Cambodian connection is its own story. The compounds where the actual pig butchering scams are operated, the people who write the messages, build the relationships, run the scripts, are often staffed by human trafficking victims. Workers are lured to Cambodia, Myanmar, and Laos with promises of legitimate jobs. They arrive to find their passports confiscated and themselves forced to work the scam scripts under threat of violence, debt bondage, or worse. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Institute of Peace, and international human rights organizations have all documented this pattern in detail. The people on the other end of a pig butchering conversation are often themselves victims of a different crime. This does not change the legal responsibility of the money laundering layer in the United States. Li and his co-conspirators knew the money was stolen. They moved it anyway. They were paid for moving it. In a moment, we get to the part of this case that most viewers will not have heard reported. The moment Li was already in custody, had already pleaded guilty, and was wearing an electronic monitoring device, and what he did next. In November of 2024, Daren Li appeared in federal court in the Central District of California and pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. The maximum penalty under that statute is 20 years in federal prison. As part of his guilty plea, Li agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. In exchange, he was released on a court-ordered electronic monitoring program while awaiting his sentencing date, under conditions including the ankle monitor, restricted movement, and surveillance. This is a normal feature of federal pretrial release for defendants who have pleaded guilty and are awaiting sentencing. It is intended for defendants who have demonstrated cooperation and are not deemed a flight risk severe enough to warrant continued detention. Li, who held 2 passports, one Chinese, one from St. Kitts and Nevis, should arguably have been deemed a flight risk regardless. The federal court made a different judgment. He was released with monitoring. In December of 2025, Daren Li cut off his ankle monitor. The exact circumstances of his disappearance have not been made fully public. What is known is that he left his residence, removed the device, and was no longer in any location accessible to United States authorities. Federal warrants for his rearrest were issued immediately. The FBI added him to investigation priority lists. He has not been located. In February of 2026, his sentencing went forward in absentia. The federal judge sentenced him to 20 years in federal prison, the maximum allowable under the statute. The sentencing was a formal acknowledgement that the United States government still holds the conviction and the sentence against him. If he is ever apprehended anywhere in the world, the sentence is waiting for him. He was last reported in the vicinity of Asia. The Chinese government has its own complicated relationship with extraditing Chinese nationals to the United States. St. Kitts and Nevis has a small population and limited extradition treaties. The practical likelihood of his recapture in the short term is unclear. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's Operation Level Up, a unit dedicated specifically to disrupting pig butchering networks and identifying victims, has identified more than 6,400 victims of pig butchering schemes in the United States as of the latest publicly released figures. Of those victims, 77% did not know they were being defrauded at the time the FBI contacted them. They were still in the scam. They still believed the platform was real. They still believed the person they were talking to cared about them. If these warnings are landing for you, I have built a free one-page guide called the Senior Scam Warning Sheet. It covers the 5 most dangerous fraud patterns federal investigators see in 2026, including pig butchering. The link is in the description below. No email required, no charge. We will keep going. The total documented losses from pig butchering in the United States in 2025 alone are estimated by the FBI at over $4 billion. That number is likely an undercount, because most victims do not report the crime. Embarrassment is the single largest factor in underreporting, and the scammers know it. The entire scheme is engineered around making the victim feel personally responsible for their own loss, so they will not tell anyone. Daren Li was one part of one layer of one network within an industry that has stolen more from elderly and middle-aged Americans in the past 3 years than any other single category of fraud. The fact that he is currently a fugitive does not undermine the prosecution. It confirms the seriousness of the network he operated within. The sentence stands. The conviction stands. The case file is closed even if the chair was empty. Here are the 3 warning signs. Warning sign number 3. The opening message is always the same shape. A stranger contacts you out of nowhere, often with a friendly, slightly accidental tone. "Sorry, I think I have the wrong number," or with a too flattering opening line if you are on a dating platform. They show interest in your life. They are warm, available, attentive. They do not push. They do not ask for anything. They are just present. A real person who actually has the wrong number does not stay in the conversation when you tell them so. A real romantic interest does not message you constantly without ever meeting in person. If someone reaches out to you without context and stays in your life despite there being no reason to, treat the contact as a potential setup. Tell the conversation what you are willing to share, which is nothing financial, and watch what happens. If they get more friendly when you stay neutral, more invested in your details, more interested in your work or savings, the script is running. End the contact. Warning sign number 2. The investment introduction is the test. At some point, sometimes within days, sometimes after weeks, the new contact will mention an investment opportunity. It might be cryptocurrency, it might be foreign exchange, it might be gold, or a private equity opportunity, or a friend's new platform. They will not push. They will share. They will let you ask the next question. They will appear casual. Any unsolicited investment introduction from someone you met online, no matter how natural it feels, is a scam. The very best legitimate investors in the world do not recruit clients by sliding into their direct messages on social media. They do not solicit through dating apps. They do not introduce strangers to investment platforms over WhatsApp. If your new contact has introduced you to a platform, end the contact immediately and report the conversation. Warning sign number 1. The platform itself is the proof. Real investment platforms in the United States are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. They allow you to withdraw your money. They process withdrawals through your verified bank account in your name. They do not require tax payments to release your funds. They do not ask you to convert to cryptocurrency to access your gains. They do not freeze your account because of a regulatory hold that can be cleared by sending more money. If a platform is preventing withdrawals, charging fees to release your funds, or routing your withdrawals through cryptocurrency you have to purchase from somewhere else. The platform is fraudulent. Your money is already gone. The dashboard showing your account balance is generated by software. The number means nothing. Stop sending money. Call the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. Report what happened to your bank. Some wire transfers can be reversed if reported quickly enough. If you want the full collection of warning signs across the major fraud patterns targeting Americans over 55, the free one-page senior scam warning sheet is in the description of this video. No email required, no charge. If you would like to be the first to hear about new cases as I research them, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I cover one federal case file every week. In February of 2026, a federal judge sentenced Daren Li to 20 years in federal prison for his role in laundering $73 million stolen from American victims of pig butchering scams. He was not present. He had cut off his ankle monitor and disappeared 2 months before the hearing. The sentence was imposed anyway. It will be waiting for him for the rest of his life. The victims whose money he helped move through the system will not be made whole. Most will never know exactly what happened to their money. The Cambodian Compounds continue to operate. The Federal Bureau of Investigation continues to investigate. Have you ever received an unexpected message from a stranger that began with "Sorry, I think I have the wrong number," or anything similar? Tell me below, and tell me what state you are watching from. I want to know how widely this pattern is being deployed right now. This was the case file on Daren Li and the Pig Butchering Network. On record.